Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot.
But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
It could be that his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight.
But I really think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath.
And they're hanging their stockings.
He snarled with a sneer.
Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here.
Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming.
I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise, noise, noise. Can you guys help me? Can we ringle some jingle bells? Go ahead.
That's the one thing he hated.
The noise, 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 noise.
Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast.
They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which is something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least.
And then they'd do something he liked least of all.
Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing.
They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing.
They'd sing. Oh, that.
Go ahead.
They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing, 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 and sing. As a member of the worship team, I'd like to offer this. This is mine, not Adrian's script. You'll be able to tell. I have always struggled when people say it is what it is. On the reservation, when talking to people struggling with addiction, to the peace protests in college, being a single mom, I just didn't like it. When my son said it, when my coworkers said it, etc. That's when the why is it really and what can be done about it would come up. The holidays and my attitudes are about the same. I don't like the commercialism. I don't watch the Hallmark movies. I don't appreciate the cost of viewing the lights. I have a real moral issue with Christianity of it all. Yes, I guess I would be considered a grouch, grump, or even a Grinch. I get stressed because I cannot afford or know what gift to give. I don't have family to get together with and don't want to travel with all of the other festive goers out on the road. But do I have to say, oh, well, it is what it is? No. And I have to remind myself to find a similar thinking friend to support me. Because it really is what it is, but more importantly, it is what I make of it. I can determine what type of holiday I have. I can grouch around, do the bah humbug, I'm real good at it, And I can find the spirit and joy within myself. I love to give and get gifts, but can't always find the right one or afford the right one. But a gift I can give is of my time. I may internally go yuck at the Hallmark movies, but I have a friend who simply loves them, so I will watch them with her. They're also played in the waiting room at the health department. I have another friend who just drives around and around to see the lights. Okay, I can ride along. Another starts playing Christmas songs the day after Thanksgiving. I guess I can hum along. I may not break out into full voice or say the words, but I can hum. I have a friend who hates the holidays, pretty strong word, but I will let her talk and rant and rave and just listen. I have gone to church services on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning because a friend loves it, but has no close family and doesn't get to go or enjoy going alone. This year, I have a friend who lost a child to suicide. I will do whatever I can to make the holidays easier on her. I guess I do not accept that some things are just, it is what it is, but I know that the holidays are more about what I make of it. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas Sing, the more the Grinch thought.
I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years, I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Really slow so you can change. Then he got an idea.
An awful idea.
The Grinch, he got a wonderful, awful idea. Wonder how many of you have ever had a wonderful, awful idea when you've been in a Grinchy mood. Community is also having care of people who will help you when you need it.
I know just what to do.
The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and coat, and he chuckled and clucked.
What a great Grinchy trick.
With his coat and this hat,
I look just like Saint Nick.
all I need is reindeer. The Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead.
So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he loaded some bags, some old empty sacks, on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up poor old Max.
Then the Grinch said,
Giddy up.
And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town.
all their windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to this first little house on the square,
This is stop number 1.
The old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two.
Then he stuck his head out the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row.
These stockings are the first thing to go.
Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room. He took every present: pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns, and plums, and he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Sorry, you want to do mine?
Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee.
And now I will stuff up the tree.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove.
When he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove, when he turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie and he thought of it real quick.
Why, my sweet, dear little tot,
The fake Santa Claus lied.
there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and bring it back here.
And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou, who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and he stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire.
Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls, he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1/4 dawn. All the Who's were still in bed. All the Who's still a snooze when he packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip top to dump it.
Pooh pooh to the Who's.
He was grinchily humming.
They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise that I simply must hear.
So he paused and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. You want to help us? But the sound wasn't sound. Sad why the sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so. But it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eye. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presence at all.
He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it just came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
He puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And then the true meaning of Christmas came through, and the Grinch found the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. With a smile in his soul, he descended Mount Crumpet, cheerily blowing hoo-hoo on his trumpet. He rode into Whoville. He brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
Adrian, I have a surprise. It's been me all along. It was me all along. I thought we might have fooled them, but it was me. What a great service that was. And
Wonderful. The
we still-
jubilation of Nick came through, didn't it?
well, we are so excited for this year because Adrian and I were talking and we were saying how this might be a tough year for some of us to feel joy. And we were really wanting to kind of talk about that tension. And so look at how many people filled out these hearts. I think we might be able to read some of them and some of you might still be pondering yours. And one of the things Adrian said she was going to do was put them on string so we can put them somewhere, right?
Yes.
And so, yeah, so do you want to read some of them and we can kind of get
Yeah.
some of them into the,
Do you
into
want
the
to
air?
hold them for Nick? Because
Yes.
he can't, he has slippery hands.
I am a slippery. We'll switch off.
Okay, go ahead.
So one is being invited to holiday gatherings where I don't have to cook. That brings a lot of joy.
Feel free to ring your bells. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Rebecca, feel welcome. Love my husband.
Ooh. All the help I received after surgery.
When I felt bad, my friend helped.
To have peace and justice.
Numerous patients over 4 years at CRH.
Oh, I love this. Just listing names. Eric, Laura, Carla, Ben, Corinne, Mark, Dave, Linda, ML, Carol, a lot of Carols, Eve.
My mom taking care of me when I was sick.
This cute little photo with hearts.
Oh, little
I won-
person with bunches of
Wonder who
hearts.
Cindy Lou wrote that. Sorry.
I love coming together to visit with my family.
My mom always made Christmas special.
I have a chronic illness and my pharmacist always goes out of her way to make sure I have my meds, especially my pain meds.
Going to retreats, being an elder and being honored.
UUCCI has showed so much kindness to me and my wife. You all have made us feel welcome and wanted. We have loved everyone and love being here.
Mommy.
My children's joy.
Adrian was there to listen when I needed her.
Oh, thank you. Small kindness daily, if I am aware.
Kids who never forget that we are still here.
Friends, Dave, thankful Christmas.
Karen, Jane, sorry, my parents, grandparents, Hannah, Sarah.
Sky, Jen, Amy, my boys, Ben, my dad, Nikki.
When Cummins offered domestic partner benefits.
My father, aunt, uncle, mother, brother, community, teachers, family, and friends.
Nick was there for me when we had a death in the family.
Mary Beth Geyser, our road mom.
Earthly angels who just show up and light the dark.
My heart grows at UUCCI. Hitchens, choir, solstice celebrations, Adrian and Sunny, Mom and Janine.
When I was a girl, the Halla family across the street gave me a haven. And one more. One of my first days at UU, my friend Hattie hugged me.
Oh.
So there's so much love in this room. There are a lot of really hard things going on right now in the world and in our personal lives and in the lives of our community. And it's about holding that tension for all of us here, because there are times where we might feel more like a Grinch, our heart 3 sizes too small. And there's times where we might have this moment of kindness from someone and it grows 3 sizes larger. And so that's a little bit a part of what 2024 is about, is sort of holding that tension between the joy and sort of the difficulty, especially in these holidays. So I think we sang our last song. And so we're going to extinguish our chalice. Let us extinguish.